Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Tiki Live, Amazon Music, JioSaavn, Podchaser, Rumble, and more. Why so many places? I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So this show has no gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests. I'm so excited to announce that Marion Ross is returning to my studio. You'll remember her as Mrs. Cunningham, Mrs. C on the Happy Days. She came when she was 79 to my studio when I had it in Sunset Gower Studios. Now, thanks to COVID, hashtag COVID silver lining, you get to see me broadcast live from my living room. And if you missed the shows with the singer, the lead singer from Sweden that did ABBA production at the Saban Theater, or let's see, if you've missed, I had the Waltons on. I've had just all manner of wonderful classic TV people, Jerry Mathers from Leave It to Beaver, Fran Drescher, you heard in the promo. So I'm just so grateful that this is show 948. They said that good news wouldn't last, and they were wrong. We're going on well into my 11th year now, and 578 consecutive weeks on the air, on camera. And thank you. My guest is applauding. Okay, I'll give myself some applause. Hold on. And I'm so grateful that I have a repeat guest on today. It is so wonderful. Thank you, Sadiq Mia, for coming and streaming right now. Just so you know, we are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Comedy Central. No, Dr. Marissa Central, my YouTube channel. So free subscribe there. You'll get an alert every weekday morning. And I do specials. I love my series. I started 11 years ago, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do some of what I get to do off the air, which is coaching, life balance coaching, happiness coaching. People were asking for a kinder, gentler Dr. Laura, wink, wink. So I thought, you know what? We're going to do that. And with the help of my sound engineer at the time, Jarvis, he found this guest. I believe that is how you got on the show. Okay, good. My memory is not what it used to be. I'm running out of disk space, but I am so delighted to have him back on. He was a volunteer for the coaching that I do. He came on years ago. We're talking, you'll tell me how many years. 5 years ago? Oh, it seems like more. I've been on 11 years. So 5 years ago, he was on my show. Please welcome one of my first, and I'll say favorite because he's on the camera right now, happiness and life balance coaches. His name is William Big Will Elijah. Welcome back to the studio.
Pleasure to be here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad that we got this to work. He reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, I don't know if you remember me, but, and of course I remember you. I love working. This is one of my favorite things to do, is work with people to try to up level their happiness. And so I invited him, but we've got a full show. But before we start, we're going to do gratitudes. This is what I do at the top of every show now for the last year, to work your muscle of gratitude and appreciation. A lot of us wake up in the morning. The first thing we do is wake up, pick up this and start doom scrolling or whatever they're calling it. And it's not fun. And then you wonder why you wake up irritated or angry. And so I want you to wake up and focus on what's good in your life. So what is good in your life, Bill? I'll start off real quick. I am grateful for hot showers in the morning. Not everybody has the ability to have one, a shower, and two, that it's nice and hot. So that's two gratitudes right there. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful that I woke up this morning, and I'm thankful for this opportunity. And I feel better knowing that I'm helping people. So
that's 3. Great. And that's 5. We've got 3 more. If you're streaming in, feel free to put your gratitude in the chat. I am grateful that I'm moving today, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. I'm staying in this beautiful building on the ocean. I get to move to a different floor for various reasons. Let's just say my level of potential irritation is going to go down because I'm not going to have to be bothered with the people doing that around, because I am allergic to the smoke. So I'm so grateful. And guess what floor I am moving to? Polly got it right this morning. I don't know if you're aware of my favorite numbers, but I am moving down to 8th floor. 8 is a homophone for good fortune. That is why my book is 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. And because you are a coachee today, you're going to get a free Asian Oprah giveaway audiobook version of my book, as well as anyone else who comes and becomes a coachee. And I usually do this on Mondays. Yesterday was a holiday, but if you'd like to be someone who gets a free session to look at how we can up-level your happiness, then please do contact me at drmarissa.life. Okay, now I think we're one more. I am grateful that I get to eat my favorite foods every week. I think that's a fun thing. And it's interesting. I didn't realize the segue. We could use that for the show. We're going to be talking about bariatric surgery, something that Big Will has been involved in. So if you are at all part of that group or understand what bariatric surgery is, we're going to talk about it. And those who need more than that, that's what we're also going to focus on today. As well as how we can be happier and what's happened to Big Will since our coaching session. So there's the top of the bun, gratitude. Now we go to the bottom of the bun. The bottom of the bun is what you're going to do, hopefully, before you go to bed. And often, again, a lot of us do this, not a great habit. Do this before you go to bed, and you're going to go to bed the same way you woke up. Usually people don't post good things. They post angry things or irritating things or negative things, unless you have your dial set to the puppies and the kittens and the babies. But most time it is not positive. So I want you to go to bed thinking about what is good with you. And that, I believe, is the hallmark of good mental health. We're reaching the end of the month that is highlighting mental health awareness. So many of us reach for the pill. I'm not against medication, except when it is a number or a placeholder for the work that we get to do on our own. And a lot of times you'll feel better because it's masking the things that you're not happy about. Usually a lot of people don't like themselves and they fall into sadness and depression because of that. So that's why we do this. I want to know, what do you like about yourself? So very quickly, bottom of the bun. I appreciate that I love helping people, just like Bill said earlier. So that is exactly what I want you to be aware of. Because if you cannot appreciate yourself, how the fork do you expect other people to appreciate and approve of you? All right, Bill. Yeah, you go. Big whoa.
I want people to know that I love the fact that I have resilience. I'm able to bounce back even when I get that gut punch. I'm thankful for resilience.
Beautiful. I appreciate my enjoyment in the moment. I have learned how to be very present, which is a gift, which is a skill. It doesn't happen like a light switch. You have to practice. So, in every moment, how am I feeling right now? How am I feeling right now? Take the breath. How am I feeling right now? And I feel pretty forking good right now. So, I appreciate present centered awareness. Go ahead.
I feel the same way. I've been taking that breathing seriously lately, and I've even been posting it in my group, just acknowledging that exhale as at release, and it makes me feel a whole lot better. So I'm acknowledging that.
Beautiful. I appreciate that I know how to find free platforms. There's a lot out there that is free, and people complain about the ads, or it's like, hello, it's free. And I really appreciate that I have understood and continue to do what I do. If you build it, they will come. And I'll do my last one, which is I appreciate that I'm not swayable to people who say, this is the way to blah, blah, and give me 10,000, 15,000, 30,000, and I can do this for you. I appreciate that I know that I am hooked into creative, inspired action. That it's not saying I won't spend money, but I know that I don't have to follow by the nose all the hype around big numbers. And I appreciate that Google is so kind to me, and I have not spent a gazillion dollars to do that. Actually, zero, but don't tell them. All right. Will, what do you appreciate about yourself?
Well, that fact about being able to gather that information, utilizing it, but also being able to share my life lived experiences in order to help people.
Beautiful. And that is it for Breakfast with Dr. Marissa and my guest today, Big Will. This is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. If you do this for 30 consecutive days, I promise you what's between the bun will be amazing, and you will live your best life or best day ever. Thank you for joining us for breakfast. And now we're going to segue into what happened when we first spoke and you were my victim, volunteer for life balance coaching. You were on the phone. I don't think you were on camera. And
No,
you told me about why you were not happy. And if you can remember that, we'll kind of go back into the future and tell me what brought you to me where you were not happy.
Well, at that time, I was going through a huge transition in my life. Was recently divorced and made a decision to move out of state, to move across the country, from Detroit to Las Vegas. And I was in a very, very, I would say, vulnerable state of mind. I'm a very strong person, but at that point, I didn't know what was going to happen in my life. And somehow we've connected. And when we got on the show, you started asking me questions, and we just started unraveling certain things. And it's always been in the back of my mind as I got out here and I started living life. I was like, what am I going through that is causing me to, to stumble or, what's called. So our conversations have always been in the back of my mind. And I watch and keep tabs on you over the years, just going, what is Doc doing? What is Doc doing today? So I always look at those kind of things. But that was what was going on at that time, Doc.
Great. And the series of questions, there's 3 questions that I ask. And I'm going to ask you now, if you can remember what your rating was then, and give me what your rating is now. So let's go back there. Close your eyes gently, taking a deep breath in through the nose and releasing soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees, feet on the ground, palms up, open and receptive. Another deep breath in through the nose and releasing all the stories and the drama, activating the mind in addition to the body. And the final breath, taking it in, not the final, but the 3rd breath in this series. And connecting with me through Chi Eternal Energy, energetically. I'm now in tune with Big Will. And releasing Chi is life force energy in Mandarin, and that's how we are all connected. On a scale of 1 to 10, if you look at your relationships, if you can remember what that number was, I meant to go back and look at that number. I think I remember a little bit. 10 is off the charts, amazing, and perfect, which no one ever is. Hint, hint. So I don't want to hear a 10. And 0 is horrible. What do you remember it was then and now as we bring ourselves current?
I would say back then it was 4 or 5, and now we're at 8 or 9.
Fantastic. In the field of job and career, what was it then and what is it now? Same scale.
Back then it was 0 because I had just walked away from my music career. And now we're at about a 7, 8 because I enjoy what I do.
Fantastic. And last but not least, health and well-being. Your physical body, emotional body, what same scale then and now?
Then I was at about 6 or 7. Now I'm at a 3, 4.
Okay, so we know where we're going. Taking that one last deep breath in and releasing, gently come back into the room. Open your eyes. Fantastic. Okay, so first of all, what happened then? You were starting to say this when we were in the green room, and I shut you down because I wanted you to save it for the show. What was helpful on what I said, or not what I said, what was said through me, because I ask all the time, speak through me. Don't let me get in the way. Let the words be thine and the voice be mine. I anchor to my UPS man, my universal power source, who delivers messages or downloads. We all have that if you are connected to inspiration. But what was said, or what do you remember that made a difference?
Well, it was that opening session because I think you did the same thing with me back then. It helped clear a pathway for me to think clearly because at that time, information was jumbled. You know what I mean? And I was grasping at straws just trying to make something happen because that's what we do. We try to survive. And when you try to plow through and butt your head against the wall, nothing seems to work. So for you to give me that, help me with that cleansing breath, I was able to kind of say, okay, the decision that I made to move was sound. I'm going to be okay. Scary as it was, let's go. So that's what I remember the most.
Great. So I got you to center, right? Instead of bobbing in the ocean of emotion and instability and living in the critical head. I think I remember that part. Yeah. You were introduced to balance-centered Big Will, and balance-centered Big Will is the person, everybody has that adult, stable, reasonable, logical, and non-critical that loves loves ourselves. And that's one of the core foundation hallmarks of my process, is that we anchor who we really are at the core of who we are and get out of the critical head that beats you up left, right, and center. So you know who your critic is, and it ain't you, you're balance centered. Now, most people have not made that split. Most people every day, who approves of me? And no matter how much approval you get, you have someone inside your critic going, you should have said that. You shouldn't have said that. You should do that. You shouldn't do that. And we all still have them, right? What did we name your critic? And if we didn't, let's do it now. What's
No,
the
we didn't.
name of the voice that beats you up?
Well, we can't say that on.
Yeah. Don't use initials. Use initials. Although I'm very frank about my critic. Her name is Rose. My mom's name is Rose. It's not meant as a criticism of her. It's just a very quick identifier. She absolutely does the very best that she can. I just made flight plans to go back and see her again in September. She has Parkinson's. She's not doing well health-wise. She did apologize for beating me, and God bless her for that. She did take it back, but we're not going there. But everybody does the very best they can. But what happened was, when I was called fat, ugly, and clumsy by her, I embraced that and then took all of the horrible things that anybody else has said about me and gathered them into that entity. So my Rose is actually worse than my mom ever was, because I dragged all the criticism along with me. And a lot of people do that. So the critic is driving your life car, and it will drive you over a cliff. Now, do I want to kill my critic? Absolutely not. Because the critic, the opposite side to critic, or the flip side, is, notice this is actually sign language for peace. So the opposite side for critic is protector. And if I didn't have my critic, I'd have red burned hands from putting my hands on the stove. I'd be flat as a pancake from crossing the road and getting run over by cars. So I love my critic. I appreciate what my critic has done to help me be safe. But I don't need my critic now to be driving my life car. I can put my critic in the passenger seat. It can front seat drive and tell me what to do, but I don't always have to do what it tells me to do. So I want the initials of your critic.
Well, I'm going to say his William. I mean, it's a mirror.
Okay.
It's a mirror image, because
Okay.
I can be both of those people at the same time, I've noticed.
Okay, but it's not your core. And this is really important. This is why we're meeting today. It is not your primary you. You're not a split personality. Your
Okay.
core fundamental person is not your critic. Okay, it's not a 50-50. You cannot be your critic. Let's get rid of that BS, that bullshit talkie right now. That belief system keeps you, right, unstable. So we're going to meet your fundamental who you are. And that is, it's going to have to be either William or Big Will. You cannot call your critic the name of the core of who you are.
Well, I love that you actually put that way, because Big Will is the person that you see right here. William would be the critic. For real.
Okay. Perfect.
That's perfect.
So from this point forward, we're going to put William. Thank you very much. Say with me, William.
William,
I love you.
I love you.
You've been yelling at me for my entire life.
You've been yelling at me my entire life.
You got to be tired.
You have to be tired.
You're going to get a nice front seat here. Put your seatbelt on.
You're going to get a nice front seat here. Put your seatbelt on.
Take a load off.
Take a load off.
Big Will has got this.
Big Will has got this.
I'm driving.
I'm driving.
Let's enjoy the rest of the ride of our lives.
Let's enjoy the rest of the ride of our lives.
Because we're on a joyride.
Because we're on a joyride.
And I don't need you looking at the weeds.
And I don't need you looking at the weeds.
Or the poop.
Or the poop.
Or the roadkill.
Or the roadkill.
Love you so much.
Love you so much.
Thank you for protecting me.
Thank you for protecting me.
But I got this.
But I got this.
Take a deep breath in. Anchoring the truth of who you are. Big Will, welcome. Beautiful.
Nice to be here.
Yeah. So when you're breathing, every time you take that breath that you've learned how to do now, you're bringing Big Will into focus. Okay. So literally every time you start hearing, oh, well, you're still not this. And, oh, well, if people knew who you really are, they wouldn't think blah, blah, blah. Or, oh, you still don't have what in your bank account. Or, oh, I can't believe you already had the surgery and you're still not what you want to be. That voice is William, who is in the passenger seat. And William will not take this well. He will go down like I'm melting, because he's been driving. So it's a process, but it will get easier. It will get easier, but it's a conscious effort to put your critic in the passenger seat. Okay. So as soon as you recognize, you go, William, I hear you. There's actually an exercise in this book that I have people do called the insulting game. And I want you to put every single insult you've ever gotten, which is what the William is talking about, right? Oh, well, you tried that already, or I can't believe you're fat again. So you put that in the insulting game. So when it comes up, you say, I hear you. I got you. I'm not pushing you away. I hear you. I acknowledge. But that's number 6. You've been saying that. I've already heard nothing new here. If you come up with something new, we'll put it down. But I hear you and I don't agree with you. This is not helping us. Okay. I will only entertain things said in my head that help us. Capiche?
Capiche.
Okay. Helpful?
Very much so.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So, super happy your relationships are better. Super happy that your job and career is better, that there's ways in which we'll always have enough. Here's another Happy 88 tool. We have gotten so lazy in our focus and our thinking, and this is from Abraham Hicks' Law of Attraction, that we allow whatever flavor or vibration or energy that is around us to influence how we feel. So if you listen to the news, and now if you stream the news, if you have an alert about the news, you will know that it is almost always climate, something bad with the climate or a natural disaster, fear, right there, something bad with the government or some government, fear, collapse, right? And third, what someone did to hurt someone, okay? The worst in people, murder, rape, assault, whatever. So 3 news stories, I guarantee you, will be on there. Do these news things inspire, oh, I can't wait to have a great day? No, we're here holding our breath. Who's going to hurt us? Lack, limitation, and fear, as my big brother will say. Media is a weapon of mass distraction. And the only way they can distract you is if you're not strong enough with your ability to focus. All right. So that's our job, to focus on what is good about what's, no matter what the situation is. So no matter what job you're on, no matter where your body is, no matter where your relationships are, if I choose to look at what is working versus what is not working, I automatically set myself up to receive more of what is good. If I focus on what is bad, I am priming myself to notice more of what's not working. This is not, it's not a hypothesis, it's a law. It's the law of reciprocity, of attraction, of focus. All of that happens whether we believe in it or not. And that is why, as we begin this next segment of what you're going to explain to me now, what is bariatric surgery and what is happening that you have formed this group to be of service to.
Okay. Well, one of the things that the epiphany that I had was during the pandemic, or pre-pandemic, I was working out, doing my thing. I had a great mindset. It was going. And then I had an incident where I got off my recumbent bike and I fell to my bed. And all of a sudden, my life altered right then and there. I was doing everything right. I was doing everything by the book. I was succeeding. I had lost 80 pounds again. I was getting my life back because after we talked, I started rebuilding my life and just taking stock in what I had. I was practicing gratitude. I had it set up that every time I saw a silver 300, a Chrysler 300, that was my thank you icon. So I would see one, I would say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I would see a lot of people that were homeless here. I would say, thank you for my job. So I was really in the focus and things. Then I got this injury when I developed blood clots. And then the pandemic hit. So I got like a triple whammy. So I immediately fell back into that, what is the use? This is what my life is going to be like. Nobody's here for me. I'm not going to be able to make it. I might lose my job. Here we are in a pandemic. I might die. All I had was food and I just ate. So I gained 100, 200 pounds pretty much over the last couple of years. But with this tool that I possess, I still have a way to correct these things. What I didn't realize at the time is that my mindset flipped back to its original state. And I know that they say, I've heard it said many times that a mind stretched to a new shape can't go back to its original shape. But I felt like I wasn't living to that. So I was just right there and everything that was happening to me. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine that used to be in a support group back in Michigan, a bariatric support group. And we were talking about, the lack of support for people that have regained weight. And I started thinking about it. I said, well, there's a period in bariatric surgery. You go through the surgery, you make a traumatic, a big life change to do this traumatic thing to your body, altering your body.
And what is that exactly? So for anybody who's listening, and I honestly, I've heard the term, but I sort of know, but please take me through what bariatric surgery is and who qualifies and how someone even gets into that. Okay.
So your body mass index is kind of what they go by. You have to be at a certain body mass index in order to even qualify.
So average and overweight are not. Yeah. So you have to there's one more after that, right?
Yeah.
So is there a weight number that people are at? I guess it depends on your height, right?
It depends on your height and everything and all of that, because they do measurements with everything.
Okay. So but for the short of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're obese, right? Yeah. According to the BMI, you qualify.
Yeah.
Okay. So take me back there. The first time you went, okay, I got to do something.
I was 544 pounds.
Yeah. I
was an entertainer, but I'm very light on my feet. Can do a lot of stuff. I used to say.
How tall are you?
5'11". I shrank.
Okay.
I shrank 5'11".
Okay. You're close enough. You're 6 foot, 560 pounds. You're an entertainer. You're singing on stage, light on your feet. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. The doctor used to say you're a total, oxymoron. You're the most healthiest, unhealthiest person I've ever seen. My cardio stuff was the best, So that enabled me to do a lot of things. But what happened was I just looked in the mirror one day and it hit me like the person who I want to be on stage isn't the person that I see now. I've been trying to make it work, costumes, hats, and all that kind of stuff, but it's not how I feel. I should be Michael Jackson, damn it. I should be that big. You're right. I should be able to do, so that was my initial thought. It wasn't like, oh my God, my health. It was, I want to look the part.
Nothing wrong with that. Okay, go ahead.
As I went through the process and they had me get on a scale, the regular scale where they do the slide, it couldn't measure me.
Wow. Okay.
So they walked me around a corner. I remember this like it was yesterday. Walked me around a corner. It was this flat scale on the ground, a big iron scale. It was a scale. And they had me stand on that. I was like, well, what is this scale? Oh, that's a cattle scale.
Okay.
Totally broke down, like right there. I just was mortified at myself.
Yeah.
And that was the catalyst for the surgery getting, everything went fast forward, got approved, got all that done. But it wasn't really why I did the surgery.
Mm-hmm. Now, is this a sleeve or they cut part of your stomach or what is that?
Well, they have different ones now, but back when I had it done in 2003, it's called the renewal, which is they take a section of your stomach, attach part of your intestine to it, and like just reroute your digestive tract, leaving the rest of your stomach intact. The stomach acid and everything is still there. I still have that in there, but I only have a pouch. And the restrictive stoma keeps me from eating a lot.
Okay.
Now, in the beginning, because of that, you have a dramatic elevator drop. Bam, your weight drops. Bam. And that's called the honeymoon period, where everything is great. You're getting all the accolades and the attention and all the, everybody's clapping for you. But in that period of time, this is why I'm here, is that I believe that we were left to our own devices, that we really weren't pushed in a way to really deal with why we were heavy in the first place. So when we stopped the elevator drop, we're now left with what do we do now? Those old habits do creep back in. I'm an emotional eater, stress eater. So those habits are still there. They've never been addressed. So when life does what it does and William is taking over, I want Panda Express. I want orange chicken and walnut shrimp to comfort me, to give me my food hug. And when those things happen and you don't have other coping mechanisms, it's very easy for that weight to creep back up because it's incremental. Like I gained all the weight that I have over 12 years. I didn't even see it coming because when you drop that weight and you're like everybody else that you see, none of that is, that never happens. That'll never happen to me. False sense of security, false self-talk, nothing, you're not really in the trenches with what you're supposed to be dealing with. So my epiphany was with all this stuff that happened to me, everything that's going on. It's like, well, I don't have anybody reaching out to me because back then I was on covers of magazines and getting interviewed because I, had this, weight loss.
Honeymoon.
Yeah, exactly. 333 pound weight loss. Oh my God, get him on TV.
333 pound weight loss. Yee.
Yeah. So once again, nothing to what my health was, nothing to what my
right. It was all external.
Exactly.
Got it.
So when the weight comes back on, it's almost like you're ostracized or forgotten.
Yeah.
Because the community that you were a part of, they're all about the honeymoon period. And it looks good. It's great to put on a flyer. It's great to put in an ad. It draws people in for business. It does all of that. But there are
Right.
people like me that are still out here that are still looking to, take their victory back. How do we do that? How do we do
Yeah.
it? I say the best way to walk through a minefield is somebody's footsteps that have been through it. So my
Right.
lived experience share with other people that are in my situation. It's like, well, let's retrace our steps just like you did with me. So I'm so glad you did this today because
Mm.
that's the stuff that I'm really gravitating to. And that's
Yeah.
instinct to say, okay, this is where we are. This is the tools that we have.
Hmm.
How can we make it better from here?
Hmm.
But it starts here, right?
Yeah. Totally
So
starts there.
that's
So
exactly where
all those accusations, all those beatings, your emotional beatings that William is such a pro at because he's been practicing it his entire life from the time he understood what fat was
yes.
as a child is still active in you. So William has been driving this entire time, before, during, and after surgery, before, during, and after 560, before, during, and after 333. So this time, and you are the perfect person to be able to be of service in this, in your group on Facebook. If you want, if you know anybody who is in this situation, you don't even have to have had bariatric surgery for this. This is a fundamental, and I'm in a position where I can also talk about this because I've gained and lost at least 1,000 pounds. I'll say 888 pounds in my lifetime because I could not get the voice that said, I can't believe you let yourself go. I can't believe you look so disgusting. I can't believe you've got sags and fat, and who could find you attractive, and you are so gross, and no wonder your husband introduced you as obese to people around you. No wonder that guy that passed you when you were 14 in the field said, ugly. No wonder you are so disgusting that when you take your clothes off, people run away screaming, going, look at that body. No wonder. And those voices that come from Rose, that come from William, that come from every single person on the planet, there's only one person I've ever interviewed who said they do not have that voice. And to her credit, she does a lot of work on it. I'm not going to say who it is. Marianne Williamson. No, she does a lot of work, A Course of Miracles. So I believe she's done so much work that she has eliminated that voice. Now, I have not eliminated that voice. I will always have that voice, but I have the tools to get out of that voice or put the voice in the passenger seat. So that's what we're learning today. So have you got any horrible things to add to that list of what William is saying to you? Because I want this to be the last time that we put on, what does William say to you before you pick up Panda Express orange chicken?
Oh, it's like, well, when those thoughts are going through my mind, I'm usually in a state of, I'm not going to make it.
Okay. So you're not going to make it is what William says. And you receive that and you believe the bullshit talkie that William is saying. I'm not going to make it. Go ahead. What else is William saying? Make this personal. Make this personal.
I'm not going to make it. I might as well.
No. You're not going to make it. Not I. This is the switch again, right?
Okay.
This is not another part of you in the sense that it is you at the core of who you are. You do not believe that at the core of who you are. William believes it, and William uses it as a weapon. This is the most important thing in your right now that I want you to get.
Okay.
Because you're going to come back and you're going to tell me why this time is different. Okay. So William says, you're not going to make it. You're going to die because your heart's going to give out. You're going to be an embarrassment to this community after all that weight loss. You're going to be ostracized and shunned. You're not going to be supported. No one's going to be there for you. Even if you get this support group right now, they're going to see through your stuff, right? You're really not going to be able to practice what you're teaching. You're a hypocrite. Anything else?
That you've nailed it.
Okay, good. And I nailed it, not because I'm reading.
William says all of that.
Yes. And you are not William. Say that. At the core of who I am, who are you?
I'm Big Will.
And what does Big Will know?
Big Will knows in his heart of hearts that he has the skills, the love, the empathy, the compassion, and the resilience to make things work because he's done it his entire life.
Big Will knows that everything's going to be okay. Big Will knows that, and I want, this is going to be in your head because you're going to practice this stuff. Mm-hmm. This is how we put William here. William, I heard every horrible thing you just said. Thank you for making the statements very clear so I know what is not the truth. Here's the truth, William, coming from Big Will. I really do the best that I can. In every moment, I do the very best that I can with what I know and the resources I have. And I am responsible for the weight loss as well as the weight gain because I make decisions where I am with the best that I know. I do. And I am not going to beat myself up anymore for where I was. Up or down. Just not going to do it. Why? Because it doesn't help us. It doesn't help us. So the only statements I'm going to entertain are loving, caring, self-approving, self-motivating statements. You know why? Because I know I'm never alone. I am not on a desert island. And I know that I can approve of what I'm doing without anyone else's approval. Because I'm going to see myself the way that power out there who created me in a one-of-a-kind, wonderful, nobody like me, no one wants to be like me because I am uniquely fabulous 88% of the time. Not perfect, but I am no longer going to allow William or anybody else out there who joins William to beat me up because it's not good for me. 12% of the time, I step in it. I do, because I got a brat. I have a brat who's just as strong as William. Okay? The critic is the one yelling. The brat is the one saying, what do you mean I can't have that Krispy Kreme donut? You're not the boss of me. What do you mean I can't have the second serving of walnut shrimp? You're not the boss of me. Okay? What do you mean? F you. This is my life. If I want to go down fat, I will. Screw you. I don't need you. Okay? That's your brat, and we all have one. Messing with your balance, messing with y'all. Okay. And the brat and the critic hold hands. So, you're good, you're anchored, not going to do it, not going to do it, not going to do it. Critic, William, you might as well. Sorry, the brat's like, you might as well, right? It's just one, You're not that, you can handle it. You know how to do this again. You'll just get back on tomorrow. You can have it. And as soon as you have it, the William comes in, whack, and then you're in bed, scooping ice cream. Covers over the. So this is the progression that we are just, putting the moose on the table with. Putting the moose. I'm Canadian originally, so that's my Canadian version of elephant in the room. I don't know if I did that when I worked with you before. So this is where the rubber meets the road, and we are anchored. You have a tool now, okay? This is, I know they say if you hear voices in your head, you're going to go crazy. If you cannot identify the voices in your head, you will go crazy. So you've got, what's your brat's name?
My brat's name is Little Will.
Little Will.
For real.
Yeah. Little Willie. I'm going to call him Little Willie. So Little Willie's a little naughty. Okay. So when Little Willie tells you can have that, what does Big Will say to Little Willie? Big Will says, sweetheart, I get you. And I know that you just want to have fun, right? That's the flip side of the brat is you have fun. And I want to have fun too. And we're going to have a lot of fun, but we don't have to have fun doing that. We can do something else to have fun. Karaoke. Let's go to karaoke. I love it when people go, oh my God, you should be a singer. I love that. And it's true. I have that talent. I have had so much experience, and that is going to come back into your life, by the way. I feel it. I see it. You're just way too big to just be heading a Facebook support group. You're way too, your personality is amazing. And I see that, I feel that. So that's all coming back. But in the meantime, the work you're doing now, it's not all or nothing. It's not, you can't do this, you can't do, there's so many things you can do. But this first thing is not losing the weight. I know that sounds odd, okay? But the weight is a byproduct of you being able to know who you really are. You are loving, lovable, and loved, and wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness, as we all are. And we want to see ourselves the way Source, God, Buddha, Krishna, whoever you want to say is that. I just call him my UPS man, universal power source. He delivers every morning when I pray and meditate, and he sees me as I am. I am beautiful inside and out, no matter what size my body is. And I know that my 35-pound weight loss in a year from Valentine's to Valentine's is about me claiming my birthright to be happy. I know I feel better when I am not overweight. That's why I do it. I feel better. I like dating. I stopped dating because I was embarrassed about my body. It's fun meeting new people. It's fun having a little, fun in the bedroom. So all of those things I know are coming to you. So hopefully these tools will add to what you're doing now and stop that cycle, because Big Will is in charge.
Thank you, doctor.
Yeah, I know you got that. I felt it. We're at the end of the show because, that just happens all the time. Thank you so much, Big Will. Go to the Facebook group. It's called
Bariatric Renewal, Reclaim Your Health and Your Happiness.
That's where you're going to go. Thank you so much. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa. You've been listening to Life Balance and Happiness Coaching with Big Will Elijah, who's come back. Tune in tomorrow for another scintillating episode of Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Now go and have the best day ever.